All right, thanks a lot, Dennis. As children go back to class, a guide to getting parents more involved in their children's education. Kafele focuses on the African-American family in his book, A Black Parent's Handbook to Educating Your Children Outside of the Classroom. He joins us here in the studio today. Thanks a lot for being with us.
Good to be here.
It's
Thank
a pleasure talking to you today. You also have a book, the latest one focuses on teachers dealing with African-American children. Let me start off. You talk a lot about the achievement gap within this country. You're a principal in East Orange, New Jersey.
Absolutely.
You say it's very similar to challenges facing predominantly black schools across the country, correct?
Right, that's right.
How so?
Well, what you find is achievement levels are frighteningly low in the African-American community. You look at mathematics, for example, at the 8th grade level, only 7% of African-American children achieve proficiency nationally. In language arts, 10%. So we're looking at problems that are severe. It's across the country. We're looking at anywhere from 87 to 90% of African-American children not achieving at proficiency levels and therefore grade level in standardized achievement tests.
When you talk about this, and we've heard similar concerns in Alabama over the last few years, when you discuss this, is there one quick answer to what the problem is?
There's not a quick answer, but the problem is teachers need to be armed with information which enables them to make strong and solid connections with the students in which they service. What I'm finding now is that teachers are well-intentioned, educators are well-intentioned, but don't necessarily have the tools, the strategies that are required in order for them to ensure that education is in fact taking place in the classroom. So what I did was wrote a book for teachers and a book for parents which provided them with that kind of information, strategies to increase the probability that the connections are being made and therefore achievement levels are being raised amongst African-American students.
You spend a great deal of time talking to groups around New Jersey and around the country.
Right.
A few things that you say, and let me point out to these. You say that for parents in particular, there are 3 keys to success for a child in the classroom: belief, purpose, and obligation. Explain that for me.
Well, I say belief, purpose, obligation, determination, and vision. Belief, first and foremost, a child must believe in his or her ability to achieve greatness, to achieve success in the classroom. If that belief is not there, if the child that student sees in the mirror does not believe in his or herself, that child's not going to be successful. Secondly, you got to have a sense of purpose. If I don't know why I'm in the classroom, if I don't have a clearly defined reason or purpose for being there, then chances are that I'm not going to do well. So as a parent, as a teacher, I have to help students to define their purpose for being in the classroom. Obligation, I say being born African American, particularly being in a city such as Birmingham, you have an obligation to continue that struggle that was waged before you. So you have to understand that struggle and understand that you're a part of the continuum of history.
One of the other things that you've told the parents in the past also is you shouldn't be able to go into a house and find more CDs than books.
That's right.
Is that the message that you think parents send when they don't put the emphasis on reading, on literacy, things along those lines?
Absolutely. The priorities have to be in order, and certainly we want to see more books, more reading material in the household, and see parents engaged in the process of reading on a regular basis. That's the best way to teach reading, by seeing someone else enthusiastically reading.
The books are called A Handbook for Teachers of African American Children, A Black Parent's Handbook to Educating Your Children. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Kafele, it's a pleasure talking to you.
All right.